Yeah, it's been a year and a half. Certainly there's a lot going on in college athletics. I know that means a bunch of things, but, at the heart of it, student athletes, our coaches, just, their scoreboard, want to win. And so for baseball to win the ACC championship Sunday was incredible. Obviously, regional coming up this weekend. So much to be excited about. That's one of the things that Clemson does best. Our fourth ACC championship this year. Clemson baseball, men's outdoor track and field, women's golf, and the football in the fall. And so that's the most we've had in 1 year since 1999, which is honestly hard to believe, but just really, really special. So the core competitively of it, for us to put those wins up and the trophies, really, really important, really exciting.
Yeah, so were you next to Bakich when he got doused?
I was, yeah. So on the field, so I got a little ice water bath on the as a shrapnel, something that was really cool. I'll remember that. Got a little game ball from one of the outs, probably. That'll be on the shelves for quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah. What take us back to when you were thinking about hiring Eric?
Yeah.
What was it about him that made him the guy you guys really wanted, and have you seen this kind of come to fruition in what you thought he was going to be in terms of the way the season?
A couple things. Certainly, he was a name on the radar for years. My job, you always just want to be, connected and have a pulse, particularly given his success that he achieved at Michigan and Maryland before that. But obviously, his ties to Clemson, being here, starting his coaching career and under Coach Leggett at the time. So it was just on the radar. And then that's the thing, I know I talked about it a lot a year ago, of where we view our job as a top 10 job. And so certainly the brand, the tradition, the resources, the investment, facilities, it's all part of it. And so it was great to be able to attract what felt like was a high pool of candidates. And certainly we talked to a bunch and then ultimately zeroed in on Eric, and certainly has exceeded expectations competitively. But I would maybe say it this way, that from day one, and just felt like the foundation and the culture of the program that he was instilling, you knew the results had growing confidence that those results would come year one, let alone for years to come. And so we have seen it right away, which is really, really exciting, but have just felt that from day one on the field, let alone, again, the culture of the program, and just ultimately how he's connected within the community, former player. Certainly the story with Coach Leggett's really, really a big part of it, and really awesome just connectivity with Clemson baseball family.
When he laid his plan out, is this kind of what you're seeing, what he's done so far? Was that sort of when y'all talked last year? Are you seeing that?
I think on and off the field. On the field, we just see how we play, and each team will take a different scheme, so to speak, just on talent and how you play it, or maybe the strategy of the game, but how it's being played absolutely was kind of what was talked about very early on. But then also, off the field, like values of the program. He talks a lot about starting the classroom, right? And they'll look at certainly baseball strategy, the fundamentals of it, and then the history of the program and baseball. So yeah, very consistent from what we had talked about a year ago to what we're seeing on and off the field in the program. And again, this is year one, so we just get excited to hopefully sustain the consistency and just for Clemson baseball to be nationally relevant year in and year out, which is where it has been and should be.
Well, you're out here shaking hands and stuff. What are you hearing from the fans? What's the question you get asked the most of?
Great question. Certainly just the excitement to be back in Kingsmore this Saturday, right, as present, coming off ACC championship and leading into regional this weekend. Softball, holy cow, couldn't be more proud of that program, super regional. Heartbreak, but just the emphasis and the here to stay type mentality of that program. And listen, just from an industry standpoint, things continue to be incredibly dynamic. College football playoffs expanding. How are we continuing to position Clemson and scheduling and brand? It's easy to think conference on that, and that's important. Obviously, the ACC board of directors, the presidents came out last week talking on ACC revenue changes and a changed success incentive there, which is important. Something I know I've pushed for and have talked on. Was pleased to see that and how ACC continues to position itself from a competitive standpoint. ACC just won men's lacrosse this past weekend, so championships across the board throughout the ACC. It's been a really successful year.
And the fans themselves are asking you about what do they want to know? I mean, what are they looking from you? They're asking, what's your biggest question you're getting right now from the fans?
How are we continuing to position Clemson? And I know that there's a lot of detail, a lot of information that everyone wants to dive in on. and I'll just continue to be consistent. Of we're gonna keep looking out and acting in the best interest of Clemson, and we're gonna have a great brand and do it the right way on the field and off in support of our university. But we're being incredibly strategic about how we're positioning Clemson, and folks want to know more. But that's going to continue to be our calling card as far as how we go about the business.
I know you said that ACC basketball is a concern for everybody in terms of the brand and making sure it's still up there in terms of how it's viewed. I mean, did you go away from meetings feeling better about like any strategy or ideas in terms of how to prop up ACC basketball?
Yeah, I don't know that there was one specific or a specific strategy or strategies, John, but I think the elevation and the importance of it, as far as last couple of years, at least from access to the NCAA tournament, haven't been what we feel like should have been earned, or the level of expectation. And so yeah, the prioritization of the importance, I think am pleased with that, from the commissioner's chair to our head coaches and ADs on down. So yeah, pleased with that as we continue to look at different strategies, whether that's tournaments, scheduling metrics, ultimately brand, and ACC Network's a big part of that too. So from a TV positioning standpoint, talk a lot about as well.
I guess in terms of, you talk about Eric Bakich, coming through, Brad Brunell, has got a bunch of transfers. Is this the kind of plan he laid out for you for the offseason, and what do you think the expectation level is for basketball?
Brad?
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, listen, certainly the news with PJ officially coming back last week, huge energy and momentum there. What was expected is a strong word, but anticipated that, so it's great for PJ to officially come back in that regard. But yeah, listen, I knew we were losing a lot with Hunter Tyson, who was a first-team All-ACC, Skip Prosser Award winner, but have replenished that, and as he's managed the roster, and Brad certainly has experience and history of really tweaking and adding to the roster in a very thoughtful and intentional way. And so I think that's the reputation he's built, and so had those expectations coming into the offseason, and I think we've seen that.
All good?
I'm all good.
Appreciate you.